So many of us don't understand, but we sound a certain way, okay? And people get used. For example, if I ever spoke in a way that was not Bahati-like, you will all be bored, or you will all switch off, because you'll be like, no, that's not her. I don't know who we have today. The body belongs to Bahati, but that is not her brand voice. So how are you going to sound? Are you going to sound sensual? Are you going to sound inspirational? Are you going to sound motivational? Are you going to sound like a big sister? You know, there are those brands like that sound like a big sister, eh? Nga ye aliwo kubuulirira kankulagirire bambi ekyokolo oyinza okuba nga tokimanyi. And like in the way they speak, in the way, like it just feels like there's a bit of nurturing in there. There's a bit of like, you can clearly see that this person is consistent with their kind of brand voice. And there are certain brand voices that are authoritative, okay? Now, that is my brand voice. I cannot say anything without a sense of authority. That is who I am, okay? So, how do you want to sound? In the eyes of the people, in the ears of the people, how are you going to sound? Each time you put out content, each time you say something, each time there are people that speak. Have you ever had slow speakers? But when they're like, they speak and you're like, oh my God, you dwell on every word that they are saying and the way they say it, the way they are so careful, the way they dance around with words. And you're like, I wish I had that gift, but mama. Me. When they say go, mfumu tuka mfumu tusi. And so if I ever wanted to be another person, but like I will be dead, I will not function. So there's a brand voice that even you as a representative of that business, you have to have a voice that people get used to. And sometimes that is where we have to be able to speak things that come from our hearts. Do you know that when you copy content, you speak like the one you copied from? Did you know that? So that means everything must be internalized. Even when I told you that you can repackage someone's content, you digest it and own it, and it comes from within you in a different way that is your way, not their way. Okay? Because they also have a voice. There are people who sound like they're quarreling. Have you ever seen them? Brands like sound like they're quarreling, and people are consuming them every day. Nedda full figure yali ayogeddeko bulungi mpola mpola naye abantu tebabiraba bitrendinga, you know, as in you will see, you've even seen, by the way, some international brands even using F words, but guess what, you will watch them. Why? It's their brand voice. Now, you have been attuned to that you no longer feel like it's even blasphemous, or you no longer feel like it's even an insult. Why? Because they have gotten you used to that now you don't see any problem. That even when they insult, even when they say things that are out of order, you still consume them. Let's go to the brand presence. But make sure that you carve out, you understand yours. Are you a nurturer? Do you sound inspiring? Do you sound authoritative? Do you sound, even when you're talking about your brand story, even when you're talking about your business, are you the kind who says, now, you know, we just brought in new clothes from Turkey. Have you seen this dress? Oh my God, this dress is to die for. Have you seen people who speak like that? And even men in the fashion industry. Have you seen men in the fashion industry? They will speak like women. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, did you see that dress? Oh my God, that heaven just took me to the moon and back. And then, like seriously, and you're like, truly kuchiwano. But that is their brand story. Whoever has got it, by the way, Watabi Kola, we will all switch him off. Yeah, but like we don't want, you're coming, you're saying, but now this dress, this money, this what? You're like, who are you? Where did you put the other one? Bring back the other cantankerous one. He's the one that we want to consume. So you see that people get used to certain things and they love it. Some of us love cantankerousness because we can't be cantankerous. Yeah, have you ever loved someone's craziness because for you can't be crazy? You're like, oh, okay, let me live my craziness through this one. You know, and you know, so you just feel a sense of relief whenever you watch them. Some of them are with fingers like this. And you're like, na yo fachi. They are promoting a brand, in a brand voice, and they're being listened to by millions of people. Millions of people. Remember, we said branding is about reach and visibility and reputation. Okay? Reach is visibility. So it's about reach and reputation. Your reputation is your delivery, is keeping your promise, and we will get to that. But your reach is you want to be able to reach more people. What is a brand if it cannot reach more people? If you can only be stationed in a certain arcade, if you can only be stationed in a certain shop, if you can only be stationed, only the people that pass by are the people that are going to see you. But the moment you build a brand, that means you're saying that you can be in the UK and you buy your mother a dress in this shop in Kampala. Why? It is online and we have automated systems, we have maybe a website, or we have a WhatsApp number where you can actually place an order and we can be able to deliver. And before you know it, people are buying from you. And you know, people in diaspora, they are the biggest referral clients. When you serve a person in diaspora, you serve them once and you serve them good, just know you're going to serve the whole of Canada. Because everyone, when they get to their small parties, I think they get lonely. When they invite Baganda and they all come together, the biggest thing they say, well, why did you buy that dress? Where did you buy? Who is your supplier in Uganda? Who does this? Oh, they're always referring. Before you know it, they're in your inbox. They're ordering for more things. Why? You were online and you were telling them, oh my gosh, there is this. My goodness. Just imagine you draped in gold. In gold from head to toe. Let me bring you this dress, guys, and then you're showing them the dress. What we have been doing for so long as promoting our brands is putting on dresses and just people want texture, something to feel. Give them something to talk about. If you don't give them something to talk about and you are too sane, we are too stressed. We don't want things that are too sane. So we will leave you with your sanity alone in your movie. Want you? Yay. Sell yogurt or mubuseko waguru woti. As in, do everything. Go to a kids' party, high five with kids, then do cheers with kids with your yogurt. Go to a family party, as in, create things. Do you think people who do real lifestyle reality shows, do you think they live that kind of lifestyle? They don't. They kuyi as they go. Katusuleyo kapate. Ne basulayo kapate. Kakati tugendeko tukoleyo chino. Tutabuleko gundi. Ne bagenda ne bamutabula. Why? For you, you think they are giving you reality. They are giving you staged up things. So stage up things. Yeah, give yourself the visibility that you need. Okay, so the brand presence. Where are you going to be? Are you going to showcase on your website? Are you going to showcase on your socials, content marketing? What is your messaging? As in, you have to be present. We have to see you. We have to see you. Some of you are too understanding that even when you post something, you can't post it you can't share it in the WhatsApp groups where you are. You're like, I'll be disturbing people's peace. And then you can't share it even in the Facebook groups where you are. Kakasuke yo, they will share you views, that 200 views, but no one liked. But 200 people saw it. Like, seriously. Which is okay. Which is okay. And when you are starting, yingira ko mu buli group. Like, seriously. That is what, when I was just beginning, I can't tell you anything that I didn't do. When I was just starting, my goodness, whenever I would see a group, it has what, 3,000 people, nga mwendi. It has how many mwendi? How's how many? And then when I post my post, I make sure that I share everywhere. I share everywhere. Sometimes I would not even go back to look whether it was liked or it was one. I don't. But just spread it, spread it, spread it. And then I would concentrate on mine. And let me tell you, before I knew it, I would get 1K likes. I would get 1K. And I would be like, okay. And then you would get people even liking it from other countries. And so I knew that nalikuchitufu. You know, because some of these things are trial and error. And that is why we have this mentorship. So that you don't make the mistakes or don't build a brand for 15 years or 18 years that I have done. If I can be able to hold your hand and you build your brand and your business in 1 year or 6 months and be able to actually to have that leap, you know, the quantum leap, then that's the best, right? You don't want to keep bumping into the loopholes, to the ditches all the time. I learned from my mistakes and I'm giving you what I have sieved as the top cream of what works in this industry. So brand presence. Brand presence. And God gave us social media. So make sure that you are present on social media. Your statuses, some of you don't think your status is social media. Your WhatsApp. WhatsApp is social media, my friends. Yeah? Newsflash. So use it as much as possible. And then let's go to the brand promise. The brand promise. What value are you bringing on the table? It has to be an irresistible solution. An irresistible solution to your customers. That when you bring it, they want to have it. If it's about hair, if it's about a salon, when you conceptualize your idea and you have your value and you're bringing it to the people and all of a sudden it's evident. That is why when people go to salon bakusaba katukubeko kuchifananyi. So that we can showcase that what we promised, when we promised to do good hair, we actually did good hair. That is the value that you bring on the market. That if I promise that I'm going to be 24/7 available, that I'm going to be 24/7 available. If I promise that I'm going to give you something that is cutting edge, something that is above others, a service that is above others, then I'm going to give you a service above others. That is the brand promise. We do not sleep on that. We do not drop a ball on that. The moment some of us deliver things because of money, you're like, you know what? Kasaya aguze kasaya sasude ate bitu ebida tunalabireyo. You know? No. Obasi checho, they already signed up to my page, so I might as well just give them anything. And do you know that some of us wait for you to pop up so that we will block you? Wanje? Yeah. Some of because if you don't create content, we forgot that we followed you, right? So now the day you put up kwara content, then we are like, yeah, no nali namwera bidanti na following katika kamo unfollowing. I told you the stops in the group that if you want to whatever do very good content, ask yourself, is this shareable? Does it have value? As in when someone looks at it, do they get something away from it? But if it doesn't have value, I am going to look at it and I'm like, kataba datu gambachi. Kale nyumako. Tonyumie, nebyo taddeyo, biganyo kunyuma, kati tukukolerichi. You know? Kubanga ne watekayo chifananyo, like I was just passing by. Ngoyamba debulungi tembiraba. Don't they get 1 million likes? I was just passing by. I was just saying hello. Nenga nyumie. Nebo tekako praise God no genda. Nebo tekako na ye bwoba tonyumie oyina okukyogerera nnyo. Ate kati nebyoyogera nabyo nga tebikwatagana. That is why we have to be able to be precise, okay? If you are not a long paragraph writer, for me I am a long version writer. I write content in long form. And if you see short form, manyaneyigiriza nnyo managers that I have, sometimes they will be like, but this is long. Or we just get out these 3 sentences. So sometimes they know how to go to make it and get out 3 sentences. So when you see short form, just know it was out of my grasp. I wrote something long and they chose to post something small. But there are some of you that are short form writers, straight to the point, very understandable, and ask yourself, who is your target audience? Like this lady that I told you about, the one that posts the Facebook, she has very good content because she deals with children, okay, and early childhood education. But she's speaking to the wrong audience. Because if you're speaking to the Ugandan audience, and you are speaking the way she's speaking, we are not listening. Excuse me. The moment you know, the children, they have to go outside and they have to play and they have to get in contact with external things that stimulate their mind. And you're like, hello? Let me tell you, in UK, it will be consumed anytime. In the US, it will be consumed any time. But tell us, the Ugandans, that the child need to be outside so that they can be able to get in touch with themselves and the nature. My goodness. To an African parent, that is abomination. Abomination. But is it the truth? It is the truth. Because children, they love stimulation. They love those stage plays, like a kitchen, what they decide their ingredients and what. So she's talking about very good things, addressing them to the wrong people. And the moment you start speaking anything with a bit of accent and with the mouth, No, I am not alone, guys. Tell me that I'm alone. Tell me that I'm alone. When you find someone speaking like that, you first drop that jaw and you're like, why? But they have very good content, like first world content, The things that we are behind on, because our education system, apparently, we still need a lot of improvement, especially for the young ones, okay? So those that have done early childhood development, that is why most of them, I have gotten so far more than 15 to 16, those that have wanted to do early childhood development, and most of them were actually, three of them were in Dubai, and I think it was one that was in Italy and another one in Australia. And I told them that if you want to see some of the content that has applied to Ugandans, go to Manuela Mulondo. Go to her page and see how she applies that information to the Ugandan, to the parent in Uganda, to understand what she's talking about. Then you can be able to recreate your content to suit that if your target is indeed Uganda. Do you know that you can produce things Ngobye producing for 2 years? You can, okay? But that's because there is no guidance, okay? So brand, we talked about brand promise. Let's go to brand equity. Brand equity. Equity can be financial equity, and most of this is really compounded. It's compounding interest. The equity takes time to compound. And some of these things, you will see that so many of our clients or customers are very loyal to brands. Do you know that if your mother used to drink a lot of Coca-Cola, you drink a lot of Coca-Cola as well? Because that is what was on the dining table. That is what you saw growing up. So we tend to trust what our people trusted. So when it comes to brand loyalty, do you know that it is passed down in generations? That if you can be able to hook that mother to come to that salon, chances are, even when her children, when they grow up, they will think that is the only salon that they have to go to. And they will feel peace, they will feel like they're at home. They will not want to go and explore anywhere else. So you realize that if you want to create that, it has to start now. You don't have to say, let me do weird things, and then after that I will do nice things, when I get the money or when I do what, because then you are losing certain people out. That means that your equity is not building, it is not compounding. But it can be able, the equity or word of mouth, it is the best way of marketing, word of mouth. Because with social media, yes, you can promote, you can sponsor. Word of mouth is someone telling you, I trust what I am saying, I have been there, I have been worked on, and I got exactly what I wanted. And when someone is malhandled or mistreated by a brand, they will tell more than 20 people. Every time I take a kutando verenga, you're popping up, and you're posting things. Whenever you post something and she's someone, you look at this woman, you look at this woman. This woman, And then next time you pop up when she's with another person or a meeting of people. Like, I don't know whether you guys follow this woman, but this woman, you do one bad thing to a person, and they will spread it like wildfire. And guess what? When you do a good thing to a person, they will only tell it to like 1 or 2 people. When you pop up like this, they're like, Bambi, and they will scroll on. But they will not do referrals as much. But again, even the few referrals they do are very important. Very important in creating your brand equity. Because then it lasts long. It has a longer life span. That is why you have people keep coming back to you, keep coming back to your business. That when the father bought the phone, they bought the mother's phone in the same shop, they bought the children's phone in the same. Everyone that needs a phone has to come to that shop. That is brand loyalty. Okay, that means you struck a chord with your brand equity. Okay, and so you created loyalty. Let's talk about brand engagement. When we had the traditional measures, we only had radio and TV, and so you just see a kalango, and then it would go, right? That is how people used to communicate to us. You want, Blue Band comes and puts on their kalango, you see Blue Band, they are measuring height, and people are growing, and they are adding more bread, and all of a sudden, nothing, no engagement. It is just a TV ad. You can't engage with a TV ad. You can't engage with a radio ad. In the modern day right now, every kind of content platform you realize is engagement platform. Every kind of content platform. Why? Because brands need to hear from the people that they serve. And so it is very important for you to listen to them. People are creating events so that they can get feedback. People are they are going on lives, okay? They are creating shorts. They are creating reels. They are creating posts, all in the name of engagement. What they want is to hear from you. What they want is to hear, what are your problems? What they want is, when I gave you this solution, did it work for you? What more problems do you have? So when you go to YouTube and you watch everything, some of the shows that we put there, you realize everyone will put down their story. Someone will put on what they learned. Someone will put their question, why they seek to engage with the brand. Okay? So we should constantly seek to engage our clientele. Constantly seek to engage our clientele. We should never cease. The moment you cease engaging, you cease to exist in people's minds. You want to be top of mind awareness. You want to create that awareness in them, okay? So while you do all that, create events, have the lives, the posts and what, then you deliver the product. So this time, or this age and era, is a two-way street. It's not like the former times. This is a two-way street. That, by the way, when you give me something bad, I can go and post it on social media and tag your page and say, guys, never buy from so-and-so. No, you have seen those things happening. You've not seen those wars on Facebook. So that means as you treat people, your customers also have brands. Owanji? Your customers have brands. I told you it's a two-way street. So while you are engaging them, they are also engaging their people. That is why it is so easy to do influencer marketing. Why? Because if your customers also have brands, the moment another influential person is consuming your brand, other people that they are following, the people that are following them want to consume that same brand. That is why we have brand influencing. Okay? So that means you should be the brand influencer, the number one brand influencer of your company. Represent your company well, represent your business well, and then you treat people well, because yes, I know that in some cases it's hard to dodge negative feedback. There are people who will always be negative even when you do something good, but those ones in your heart you will be clear that, you know what, I did something good, so I am not regretting. But there are times where you hit a rock bottom. You do something and it backfires. And all of a sudden, that is why in PR we have damage control. That we have people who are trained to go on social media and be able to either help your name out so that people will not see you in a bad light. Okay? But here we are not so used to do that. Social media houses, we do that because, I mean, we interact with brands all the time. So you can put out a statement that rubs people the wrong way. If 1 or 2, 10 people complain, you do damage control. Most of us don't do damage control for our businesses, but that kills businesses in the long run. Because someone, have you ever seen someone who knows in team, they know the rough patch, but they never get to know when you have made up. Eh? And all of a sudden, they still have it in your head that, biagana. And they're the ones about chambuza mangu, you know. And yet, when you made up, you chose, when you chose to make up, you make up kasidi say. And all of a sudden, when you go to parties, everyone is, Kumbe you made up where you're kissing, ne love zibata. Everybody, baba kucha ide kova in-law. Okay, so you need to engage at whatever cost. Brand engagement is something that has changed, and I think I will stop at that for today. When it comes to branding, when it comes to small businesses and medium businesses, but brand engagement, I think that is the one that you should underline the more. You need, if you're a small business, a starting business, small business, medium business, you need to engage as much as possible. It's a two-way street. Get to know them. Get to build a community. Let them get to love you or to even hate you. By the way, you can be a brand that is hated and you're making money. Yeah, these days, you don't need to just be loved in order to make money. Some people can say, I will never buy from you again. And then they're ordering goods because you have them. But engage as much as possible. Let's go to building trust, okay? Building trust, it's a triangle. I call it a trust triangle. Let's just draw a triangle. Okay? Nedawambisi rectangle. A triangle. Okay? A triangle, because we are going to put 3 statements in that triangle. So don't draw a small one. Because the number 1 level is authenticity. Because remember, we want to be able to build trust. We want to be able to build trust with our customers, with the people that buy our merchandise, with the people that buy into our personal brands, the people that want to come to you for sessions, for consultation, for your product. You want to be able to build trust with them. So number 1 is authenticity. Being yourself. Yes, that is the top. Being yourself. Not being anyone else, not seeking to be who they want you to be, because sometimes we want to change ourselves according to what they, I think they want me to show up in a rich anti-vibe, so let me show up in a rich anti-vibe. You show up in a rich anti-vibe, na eva mbingo obugatto tosobola butambuza. Bobo osobola weji, ambala weji. Not stiletto. You know? So that's why I'm saying be authentic, okay? In your words, in your humor, in your jokes, be authentic. Do not try copy anyone, okay? Do not try to speak like anyone. Be yourself, because people want to connect with you. Even when you're selling them the merchandise, okay? Be yourself. If you're a humorous person, be humorous. If you are an introverted person, but you're really trying to build this brand online, make sure that you're still yourself. Because if you're an extroverted person and you try to behave like an introverted person, you realize you will be boring. Because then you're holding yourself back at any time. But if you're introverted and you want to behave like an extroverted person, it's even worse, right? Because you will crack jokes that you alone can laugh at. And you'll be like, you know, because you are an introvert trying to be extroverted. And so because you think by being witty is when people are going to like me. Have we ever tried to change personality? Because we thought people would like that personality better than the original us. Some of us, do you know that there are husbands that have married women that are not themselves? Yes. And because this person was like, there's one who told me she was in a clique of girls that were witty and humorous. And so she was like, you know? So she used to put on these long, she was very decent. And all of a sudden she started putting on a skimpy. And when she would go around, she would seek to be out there doing something. And guess what? He landed on a very good guy. Very good guy. Now, the good thing is this guy was very understanding, because this guy afterwards, he's the one that comes to me and tells me that, you know what, I think she needs help. I know for sure that I have seen her ways for the past 1 month. She's an introverted person, but she has extroverted friends. So I think she thought she could only get a man by being extroverted, because even when she came to me, I had already liked her, but the way she was dancing around me, the way she was throwing her legs was all like, seriously saying, I felt bad. But for me, I had connected with the person. So now what I did was to follow her up long after that party where she was throwing herself, and I got her in her quiet moment, and she was a totally different person. And I fell in love with that person. But again, whenever we are around her friends, she wants to be that other girl because she thinks it's the cool thing to do. So you realize people want to consume us for who we really are. Do you know that some people don't know that my husband is the biggest comedian of this century? But of course, he's not that extroverted and what. But get him to speak, give him a microphone, get him to preach, and then some of us will laugh before he even starts, because now we know it's going to be. But that is internally him, that even when I am an audience of one, he's always joking about something. I'm always laughing about something. I'm always hoping Ariel does not pick that, or Ariella does not pick that, or because it's everywhere. It's just him, and so it's good to consume someone. Like, it's so sweet to consume someone for who they really are, instead of what the whole world knows about them. You get it? So now, like so many of you, you know yourself, huh? You know yourself, and you know somewhere where you have masked. You're like, now I have to show you that I am confident and I am the it girl. I am the it man. But allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be. Okay? And then, number 2, have a logical formula of how people can be able to consume you. A logical formula of how people can be able to consume you. I have called it logical because it has to be understandable. It has to be that people are not scratching their heads too much to understand you. Have you ever listened to a preacher that you have failed to comprehend? You're running behind them, they are cracking jokes, you're behind on the jokes, and then they are saying things, and half the time you're trying to figure out what they're saying, but they're already off to another thing. And so you're like, tunakwatagana. Because maybe there are those who understand him or the preacher. So by the time they are saying amen for you, you're not yet at the place of saying amen. You're like, it has not yet made sense to you. Have other people made jargons? Maybe these used to be in schools. Like, schools used to have different jargons, or even kids that went to posh schools used to have those jargons that are different from us who went to ordinary schools. Have you ever heard of those things? Kati nze ng'oluzungu njogera luli straight. Naye bali abasomedde mu those posh schools, they come and speak English, and you're like, naye. Like, clearly, now I am the kind of person who used to be like, you know what, what's not mine, it's not mine, and I will never try, and I don't want. But you know, there are people who used to want to learn and copy those jargons so that they can speak them, so that they can be called cool. You get it? Now, that means when you speak in jargons, or when you speak in a way that you understand that people don't understand, who is consuming who? They're the ones consuming, right? And they're supposed to understand what you're saying. So you're talking about your business, but you're talking about your business like you are talking to your fellow businessmen, with the jargons the businessmen are using or the businesswomen are using, but you're talking to the end user. So can you understand the problems of the end user and what they understand, so that you can speak their language? That is a logical way of being understood. Sometimes some of us have wrong target audiences, by the way. We are on Instagram, and yes, we are supposed to be on Facebook. Yeah, or on TikTok. Where, chikube, chitekewo, you know? Genda live omugambe mujje bannange leero tugenda kwogera ku kino. Genda ku live ya Instagram ogambe mujje bannange tugenda kwogera ku kino. You will have 0 people. Even some of the biggest brands are suffering on Instagram. They log on to a live and you have 7 people. And yet you have 500,000 people following you, but you have 7 people on a live. So if people are the ones consuming, can you be mindful about the people? Because the third one, do people feel that you really care about them? Do they? The only way I can trust you is if I know that you really care about me. If all you are seeking is to make an extra 100 from me, I will smell you from 1,000 miles. If you really care about me, that means you know my problems. That means you will even talk about them. And I will be like, how has she understood? Today, I had a couple. It was a virtual session. And when I talked to them, I listened. I took time to listen. Because in my heart of hearts, I was like, these people actually pay to be listened. Because sometimes the people that they're staying with are not listening. But they want to be listened. So I took my time because it was strictly an hour. But I took 40 minutes of that time listening to them. And the 20 minutes explaining what their problem was. And so we got to discover, and it dawned on them that they have 2 different temperaments. And the woman is a go-getter, high speed, what she wants is what she wants, and she feels the husband is very slow. He's not making decisions, and he's not taking the loans that she wants him to take, and she's not doing all these things. And the husband is like, we will do them whenever we do them. Yeah. You see what Kathy has done? She's a go-getter also. Yeah. Now, the moment you don't know what drives you and where you got them from, and because some people tend to be, to lack the confidence and even be insecure because of where they were brought up. Like, if I was in a polygamous marriage, grew up in a polygamous marriage, what are the chances that my husband is not going to do the same? So now you start fidgeting. You're the FBI in your marriage, not because the man has done anything, but because you fear that what happened in the past could actually come back and haunt you and come after you. And so, after I talked to them, the man came to my inbox and was like, for the 20 minutes you spoke, we paid you less money. No one could have ever made me understand my wife, and I could never have understood myself in this world. For me, I was just doing things for the sake of doing. So she feels unheard and she's complaining, and for me, I feel nagged, and but I love my wife. I'm always home. I don't know what the problem is. We had gotten to the end of this, and now my eyes are open that we have been doing it the wrong way all along. So do you understand when someone says that for the 20 minutes you spoke, we paid you less? Because he felt I cared about their marriage more than anything, that it was supposed to be strictly 1 hour, but I went into 1 hour and a half. And for some of them, I've even gone 3 hours. And I'm like, I'm not going to leave you pending, because if I leave you halfway, you might go and strangle yourselves. I started it, and then I left you in the middle. And I cannot tell you, because of money, now when you pay the next money, then you will come back for the session. You get it? Yeah. Then someone is going to commit suicide because I didn't finish what I started. So now I have to care more about the outcomes than the money that they pay. The money is a commitment, but what they get should be weighing more than the money that they got. Now that creates trust. When such a person goes to tell another person, "Nti chichi, maruma," the only person, the statement they usually use, the only person in this country is Bahati. But am I the only person? I am not. Why? It's trust that has been created over time, and so they feel they speak about the brand with a lot of pride, and they're like, she will not fail you. And some of them will even say, agamba kakati abo wa celebrity tebaddamu messages namugamba mugezeko ogenda muweza message agenda kuddamu bw'obaddamu baddayo bazina n'okuzina yazemu. As in, for them it's unbelievable. For me, I am doing my work. I am serving. A servant is not one who chooses what should I do and when should I do it. No. If someone needs my help and I availed myself, why did I announce myself if I wasn't there to help people? Then I should keep quiet and disappear. But if I say I'm going, that is the brand promise. If I say I am going to deliver, I must be able to deliver more value than I even promised before someone buys it. Okay? So, do people really feel? So we have authenticity, a logical way of them understand their problems, understand their language, speak. The messaging should be directed to them. I told you that thing of, the children, going outside. And you're like, Ugandans, no, outside is not a thing for us. We are always outside. So give us another angle. It has to be a logical way that we can be able to understand. That is why I tell us, have versatile knowledge, versatile. That if you are a marriage counselor, for example, how you handle a Muslim marriage is not how you're going to handle a Christian marriage, even when the dynamics are the same. You get it? Like, be versatile and respectful of everyone that will ever come for your service. Why? Because you are the go-to person. You have been gifted with this gift, and this is God's gift that he gave to you. Why didn't he give it to everyone in the world? Can everyone cancel marriage? Not everyone. That is why you see some people are making marriages worse than they were. Because we're getting to namugamba. Akukolachi? Hey. Tumusalira amagezi. And all of a sudden, so the logical way of people understanding you and then make them feel cared for. Make them deliver that cake with a smile. As in, if you're not around to cater to your cake, leave someone behind. That they know that if any wind comes, there is someone to hold that. There is someone there. As in, someone feels like we paid, but they didn't just deliver and abandon us. There are people who deliver and abandon, okay? But we walk every step of the way with our clientele. We are building brands so that we can do something. We can mean something. We can offer something. So let's offer it with diligence and understanding. All right. Let me just say I love you guys, okay?